I'm sorry about that provocative title. I don't like using things like that. But this case, it really did fit. I really do want to make a case here that the emotions are a trap. And but however, I don't want to necessarily say that they're a negative trap. I think, in fact, they often serve very useful purposes. What I mean by a trap is that they are pre-designed vehicles to control and produce a certain type of behavior. Our biology is conspiring to get us to do certain things, take actions, make decisions, choose partners, defend certain things, run away from certain things, all in the best interest of our genes. And the emotions that we have guide us towards what will best facilitate such an end. What I mean by that is, let me give you an example. Although it might be fun by some to wander the world, those that have such a desire to wander the world and not engage in social behavior in terms of having a family and children and the like, it's a lot of work. And some people might just decide they want to just take it on their own. That type of behavior, though possibly appealing to some, is not in the best interest of the species. It's a much better interest of our species, especially back in the bad old days when there weren't so many of us. It was a much greater interest for us to settle down, get married, have kids, establish a family, work to become a part of a community, and to grow and strengthen our security in that regards. And that programming comes from way back. And so the emotions that guide us towards falling in love and settling down and attaching ourselves to someone and then wanting to have children and raise them and the like, all of that stuff basically helps us to ensure that we do those behaviors and not something else. Let's say, for example, let's use another example. Aggression. Aggression serves a very useful purpose in helping us to defend what is ours, to ward away rivals, to ward away threats. And in fact, biological studies have been done which show that in the animal kingdom there's a certain type of, depending on the species, there's a certain type of aggression that is usually best suited for survival. And that aggression is not overtly aggressive towards all threats and foes. You've got to have a little bit of running away with a little bit of attack, but there's a right balance there. And it's interesting to see that many species that would fit in that type of a model do, in fact, their behavior does replicate that. So, in fact, what we have that feels good is usually telling us is usually in our best interest. Now, I don't know why chocolate ice cream feels so good, or why necessarily a lot of the bad behaviors that we have that feel so good that seem to be guided by our emotions that aren't necessarily good for us. Now, maybe they are in some way. Maybe back in the old days, a lot of this stuff comes. I keep saying back in the old days. A lot of this stuff is programming from a time when the world was a very different place, when sweet things were a great scarcity, when mates were harder to come by, and the threat of death at an early age was a significant one. So getting busy with propagation from the earliest age possible was really important as well. So maybe what we have here is a lot of a throwover from back in a time which is very different now. Maybe our desire for chocolate was and sweet things was important to get sugary stuff into our system in a time when it was impossible to overdose on that stuff. I don't know, but in any case, when you have that little tug of joy, when you have that little feeling that says, this feels so good, it may not be actually your higher faculties talking. It may be something much deeper down, some programming from a long ago time, helping you to make the best decisions. These are just my speculations. They're not my own. I read them somewhere else. These are my elaborations upon speculations I read from someone else. I hope you all have a great day, and I'm going to head on home and have a great evening with my family, as my biology tells me I should, and my desire. It's a little of both. Bye-bye.